if you suspect pulmonary edema, then we need to differentiate, is it cardiogenic, is it non-cardiogenic, because the treatment's going to be different. So if we're thinking that it could be cardiogenic, then looking at the heart through ultrasonography is going to be very important. We can tell if there's a valvular problem, and different things can be looked at. So the ability of the left ventricle to pump blood can be determined by the left ventricular ejection fraction, which can be found from an echocardiograph.
So is that enlarged left atrium?
I am going to be very honest with you. I am learning echocardiograph, how to look at it. So I am not real good at interpreting these.
I can interpret from the top left one already when we watched top left one.
Top left.
Did you see the 4 chambers?
No, I'm so blind I can't see that.
That's
1, 2, 3, 4. And again, I can kind of think what it might be, but I'm not for sure. But next year we will talk about it. We haven't gotten there yet with the second year, so I haven't really studied up on it yet.
So we learn echocardiographs?
A little. It's on your exams. It's on your boards.
Okay.
So we'll talk a little bit, not interpreting, but knowing a little bit about the different types of tests. You won't have to label anything, but you will have to know about the different types of lines that you see, and A lines or B lines and things like that.
My aunt does that for a living and I have to hit her up.
Huh?
My aunt does that for a living. I'm gonna have to hit her up.
Oh yeah. We could have a
No, I
guest.
was being serious.
We could have a guest speaker come in.
We'll see.
Yeah.
What would you say? You might actually hit her.
No. When I
Remind-
say hit her up, I don't mean hit her. I mean talk to her.
Remind me about that.
I will.
Okay, so again, these are things that affect the left heart that can cause the patient to go into cardiogenic pulmonary edema. Now, I will want you to know this in the red. Normally, the left ventricular ejection fraction is about 55 to 70%. When the left ventricular ejection fraction falls down to 40%, that may confirm heart failure. When it gets down to 35%, it is life-threatening at that point. And at that point, surgery or something has to be done to get that left ventricle to pump. What kind of arrhythmias? Life-threatening. Ventricular tachycardia, ventricular fibrillation, PEA, asystole. Good. Okay, and I've already kind of said this, but you can read this slide right here. I got ahead of myself, so when I was talking about those pressures, this slide, and typically if something's in a different color than black, it's probably worth reviewing several times.
So how would you do that? Like, how would you fix that patient if it was less than 35? Like a cardiac issue or something?
Well, no, it's going to depend. It's probably going to take cardiac surgery in that the reason why the left ventricle is not pumping is because it's not receiving oxygenation. And so there's something wrong with the coronary artery. So they'll go in and do a bypass or put a stent in place or it's maybe even a intra-aortic balloon pump until the heart can be surgically repaired, or even after the surgery while the heart's healing to help take on the load.
When you say bypass, are you talking about where they replace the artery? Like they take it from your veins?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's a blockage in. Remember, there's two main coronary arteries, the right and the left. The right coronary artery doesn't have to supply as much blood as the left because the left ventricle does the most work. So it divides again. Then you've got all these little tributaries that can get blocked also. But when one of the main coronary arteries gets blocked,
You're in trouble.
yes. And you know how sometimes, what's the most bypass you've heard?
Gastric.
For a heart bypass. My best friend's father, he just passed away from congestive heart failure, complications from congestive heart failure, and they did not see it coming. But he had, not long ago, 5 bypasses done. And he was
Arteries?
and he was getting ready to have one of those internal defibrillators put in place, but he passed away before they could get that in. So dangerous stuff. And you know, how do you fix it? The best way to fix it is to prevent it, and that means to watch your diet, have a good exercise plan going on. You know, if you have heart problems, to again keep your blood pressure under control. You know, whatever you have going on congenitally, have that being treated. And then if you, to prevent things from happening, you know, live a healthy lifestyle. That's hard to do in this day and age, though. You go to McDonald's and you're worried about the salad because the last one you got, the leaves are wilted, and this salad's like $10, and then the hamburger, which you know has just been cooked, it's only, you know, 99 cents. And so all of a sudden you get a, you know, French fries and a hamburger and a drink, and you've only put out a couple bucks. And so it's like the food that's worse for you is the cheapest. And then the good food is expensive, and then it doesn't last that long. And so, but, okay, and I'll let you read this slide too. If I'm talking too fast, let me know. Sometimes I get going and. Oh, and I forgot to mention.
You asked me about a stint from congestive heart failure? I don't know. I don't think it But you put it in like a coronary artery block and stuff like that.
Yes.
When you put a stent in the heart, where does it actually go?
It will go in one of the vessels to keep the vessel open.
Okay.
We watched that.
That's all right. I thought it was Cat that we watched. That's what that is.
Yeah, when you go, that's called it's called percutaneous intervention.
Okay.
And so you go into the cath lab to have the catheter put into the heart to see what the pressures are, and then through instrumentation, they can place a stent to keep the vessel from closing back up. Now, if it's a clot, then they're going to have to get rid of the clot. And if whatever's there has damaged the vessel to the point that it won't hold a stent, then it has to be replaced.
You watched them put it through up here, and then you also watched them do it from wrong.
Okay, well, I don't remember what I did last week at clinical, so last semester.
Yeah, they can go up through the femoral artery. They can also go in through through one of the neck arteries.
We watched that.
They were saying that radiologists like to go through the femoral artery, and cardiologists like to go up through the neck, typically.
Well, we watched.
I did not know that. I'm just agreeing with you, though, that that's something that,
We watched one of those go bad.
But you did watch 3.
I do remember the one that went bad. I do remember that.
I don't remember.
What? Do you remember?
What we brought in there? Yeah, they had that big package.
Yeah.
And they put in the umbrella thing, what was that called?
A filter. What it was,
I thought it was a stent too.
he was going in, he was one of the bariatric patients that was going in to have surgery, like the gastric bypass or whatever. But he was on blood thinners. Well, when you have surgery, they have to take you off that blood thinner, so they put the filter in to catch the blood clots. That's what it was.
yes.
That's what it was.
You sound really smart, so you go along with you.
Well, I
So-
remember that one.
So the
I was
patient
about to have surgery there. That's what
could be an atrial fibrillation. They could have deep vein thrombosis that was causing clots to develop, and the filter would catch them, like you were saying, because they can't be on the anticoagulant therapy. Now, this right here, I just put this on there. It's movement of fluid in and out of the capillaries, and Starling's equation tells us about this. It happens to be Pi Day, so I thought I would, wait a minute, no, the day's 15th. That was yesterday.
Oh, we should have brought pie in yesterday.
Yes. But anyway, the J equals K, da 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 da. And what that comes down to is arterial side.